What's up, guys, and welcome to my very first Farming Simulator 2025 series. First YouTube series ever, actually. Hopefully, first of many, but we'll see. As you guys can probably tell, we are on Elmcreek. They recently ported this over to FS25. I've actually never played it before, because typically I do like bare bones start from scratch playthroughs, and so yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This is definitely gonna be interesting. Um, so really quick, I know you guys have probably seen this map a million times. You're very familiar with this farm, but we do have a house, a nice little barn here. We're starting off with the Massey Ferguson 8570 combine harvester and a little beat up truck. Um, we also have a silo over here, which is nice. That'll come in handy. We have another barn here, which is a little bit bigger. I don't know how functional this thing really is because I don't know if we'll be able to get any equipment stored in here, to be honest. But yeah, is what it is. Also has the downstairs and stuff. We're gonna be starting off with the Z-Tour. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Forterra tractor. Never used it before. Thought it was kind of cool. It actually started me off with a bunch more tractors and a little bit more equipment, but I thought maybe that was a step too far. And we have some plans in the series, and I don't want to hit the ground running too fast. Anyways, we got this Farm Tech EDK trailer, surprisingly big to start out with, to be honest. So happy about that. We have a weight, a cultivator, and a seeder. The seeder may be a bit of a problem. I'm not so sure our tractor is going to handle it because I'm pretty sure it's only like 115 horsepower, which is pretty small, maybe a little bit more than that. And yeah, I'm not sure what it takes to pull that, but I'm guessing it's around 150. So yeah, we also have these three fields. We're going to be starting off with 80 over there. We have 79 right here, which has harvestable wheat on it, which is the first job we want to get to. And we also have this little field here. Now, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure these fields suck. Yeah, they're not very good. So in the future, we will obviously be looking for better fields if we plan on putting a crop on them. Eventually, they'll probably be turned into productions or something. Yeah, there's that. But anyways, the first job we have to do is hop in the combine. As far as settings are concerned, they're pretty standard. We do not have periodic plowing on. We are playing with crop destruction on. The economy's normal. Yeah, we'll take it from there. We'll see how it goes. We may be adjusting some stuff. For now, we're going to play on 5 times. I think that's probably a good starting point. We may speed it up or slow it down depending on what we got, what we actually have to do that day or something like that. But we're going to try to make every episode like 30-minute episodes that cover about a day. That's the plan anyways. This one might run a little bit long because we are kind of introducing the series and whatnot, but in the future we're going to try to keep them somewhere around 30 minutes and hopefully get about a day's worth of work in. It is 1 day per month, too. So, anyways, so as you can see, we have no money, which sucks. But it's fine. We have this crop. The question is whether or not we want to go ahead and sell this. I honestly don't know. And then the other question is, do we want to bale this? I don't know the answer to that either. I'm thinking we're gonna have to sell it unless we can find some other contracts we can do, like a cultivating contract or a harvesting contract. Make a little bit of spare change, but we do need some money for sure. But either way, you know, first job is to get this thing harvested. Shouldn't take too long, but I will probably time lapse it and I will see you guys on the other side. Alrighty, guys, we are about to finish up. I went a little crazy with the swath over there, but I'm not even sure I'm gonna bale it yet, so not a big deal. The thing that is a big deal though is holy cow, this field is terrible. Yeah, that sucks. So the question is, what are we gonna do with the grain? I think for now, at least until we look at the contracts, we're just gonna go ahead and drop this off over here at the silo. Should be able to just pipe out and drop it off here. Stupid trailer. Probably turn that off there. Alrighty. Might be ruining the trailer. Nah, I think it's fine. All right, so 4,000 liters. It's not much. It's probably not much money at all, to be completely honest with you. But that's okay. That's okay. We will take a quick look at the contracts, because why not? So we have deadwood. We do not have a chainsaw though. Do not believe. Yeah, no chainsaw. So we don't have the money for that yet, but I will say deadwood are pretty easy contracts. We don't really have a way to sell the trees though. But no big deal. Still $1,000 easy. It'd be nice to have a fertilizer, but we don't. We do have a harvester though, and that may be an excellent job for us actually. That one is tiny and has a huge transport. What is this? Canola. So we have canola there. That is a monstrous field that we will not be doing. 78 is slightly bigger than the one we were doing, and 5 is significantly bigger. Let's see, 3.6 versus 2.7. You know, we may not do both of them, but I feel like we should do one. And if we are gonna do one, makes sense to do the bigger one. Shouldn't be that bad. But yeah, we'll accept that. What do you mean? Why did it fail? Did I run out of time? No. Why did it fail? Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay though, I might have double clicked something here. We'll accept this one. Contract started. Doesn't say failed. Okay, so we got the smaller one. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe I hit cancel. I'm not positive, but we may as well go ahead and get the combine over there. So my logic here is pretty simple. I kind of want to hold on to this wheat. It's not very much. It's really not going to be worth much money. And this contract is worth quite a bit more. And we'll probably sell the canola for a little bit extra. And we get to hold on to our wheat, which could be nice. We could get chickens early. I am a fan of starting out with getting like greenhouses and chickens like really early on, because they just kind of passively make you money. But yeah, so in the short term, I think the goals are pretty simple. Am I going the right way? I may have taken the wrong turn. Yeah, we took the wrong turn. Of course, let's back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Alrighty, yeah, so in the short term, the goal is pretty simple. We just want to get a crop into our fields. Don't know what crop yet. Honestly, it's probably not that big of a deal. I would prefer not to do canola. It takes a while, and it's not worth very much money if you sell it directly. So I definitely think it's gonna be like wheat or barley, most likely, or sorghum. I'm actually not sure when you can put sorghum in. I think you can put it in maybe next month. I don't know, something like that will be nice. We'll hang on to that wheat, especially if we wind up with chickens. We may end up just selling it later, or who knows, maybe we'll keep it till we get a grain mill or something. No idea. But I do know that we're gonna do this contract. So yeah, but hopefully the goal is for the series to be pretty laid back, not super serious. Nothing crazy. We're just farming out here, you know. That's the plan. We do want to build an empire, though. That is the end goal. I typically actually play this game a lot more bare bones. Normally just a tractor and a trailer to start, stuff like that. So this is going to be interesting for me. Definitely different, no doubt. What end do we want to start from? I guess we'll start from this. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, but we will be a little more realistic and not cut through the field here. So we'll set up over here. Why not? But yeah, I typically don't start with as much stuff as we're starting with now. It's actually kind of weird for me to have a combine this early. But it's also cool, and it should be a pretty laid back series. I definitely just want to be able to, like, you know, have something tangible quick, which is the main reason why I thought maybe this would be the best way. And I've never played Elmcreek before, so this should be pretty cool. But yeah, guys, we're just gonna pop on this contract, and I'll see you on the other side of this. Okay, guys, that is a wrap for the contract. We do have about 2,000 extra liters of canola over here in the combine. I suppose we may as well go over here and drop the header off really quick. I'm hoping this is all profit, because it does typically let you sell the excess. That's what I'm hoping. Not sure it'll work out that way, but I suppose we'll leave the combine here for now, and we will go ahead and get this stuff sold. So I probably should put the engine there. Okay, so I've been thinking. So we could bale the wheat or the straw off of our wheat field, but we'll probably have to lease a baler. I will say I do intend on doing contracts, but I do have one little rule with it. I don't want to borrow any of the equipment because I think it's a little bit too cheap, and you can do some pretty huge contracts when you do that for like very cheap. So the rule is gonna be I can lease equipment for contracts, but I do have to lease it. I can't borrow it. So that throws a little wrinkle into the contracts because I think they're a little bit too lucrative sometimes. And we do want to be relatively realistic. Other than that, I've also been thinking about that cedar, and I am really worried we're not going to be able to pull it. So I do want to check on that. As a matter of fact, we were on a large straightaway, I believe. So maybe the best time to check. I'm not sure if I got the... yeah, I did. Maybe the best time to check. Let's see. Vehicles. It's 115 to run that part of it and 50 to run there. I think it adds it together. I think it's 165 to do the whole thing. It's a little big for our tractor, and that is a problem. Holy moly, it's worth some money though. Yeah, I'm not sure I know what we're gonna do. I know one thing: we're not seeding this month because I think we can only put in canola and grass for the most part. We're probably gonna wait until September. We can still put in canola, grass, and wheat. Barley's on there, right? Yeah, barley next month. Okay, so our options are pretty much wheat or barley. Not positive what I want to do yet, but we will be putting in one of those next month. The reason why I bring up the cedar is because I do have an alternative that we can use, but it's a direct drill, which means that we may not have to cultivate actually. So I would hate to waste a lot of time cultivating this episode only to swap to that cedar. So the question is, should I just swap? I don't know, honestly. But I'm hoping this is the trigger. It would be a shame if it wasn't. Yeah, it is. You can see the harvesting percentage going up here. But I will say I don't think it's going to be enough. Yeah, we're going to have to make one more trip to finish off the contract. But we should get at least 1,000 liters, I think. And canola is pretty pricey. Granted, this is probably the lowest price. So that'll be nice. And then hopefully we'll have enough to fund the chainsaw. I mean, I know we'll get 4,000 or 3,000 from the contract, but hopefully we'll get like 1,000 to 2,000 for the chainsaw. I do want to really quickly check that. Okay, we do have baling contracts. Square bale, squirrel. Okay, so that probably settles it. We're most likely going to actually bale 62 in field 3 because I want to lease a baler. I do. Oh, whoopsie daisies. I do want to bale our field. And I know we don't have a front loader or anything to deal with the bales, but I think as long as it's a square baler, we should be able to lease a baler that we can pick up. I don't want to do the $10,000 contract though. We could, but the baler we'll wind up leasing is probably tiny, so let's not do that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and scoop up this canola. I think we will sell it all, and then yeah, we'll see what we can do about leasing the baler. Okay, let's see what we get. 872 minus 11. Well, it's not bad. Seems like it's minus 12 though. We can almost afford a chainsaw with that alone. And then of course, really quick, we need to collect that. And then we're going to take this baling contract, even though that one's pretty far away. And we're going to take a deadwood contract as well. So, we have quite a bit more to do. I suppose it makes sense to go ahead and take everything back to the farm really quick. Then we'll lease the baler, go do the baling contracts. Somewhere in there we'll do the deadwood contracts. Then I think we will wind up wrapping this episode up baling our own field, most likely. Like I said, I'm apprehensive about cultivating right now. Because we may be swapping to a direct drill. And if we do make that swap, it just seems like an awful waste to spend all that time cultivating. But yeah, let's get the equipment back. Let's get this baler leased and let's get to work. Okie doke. Everything's put up and we're gonna lease this baler. Actually, I think it'll pop out. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Come on, dude. What is wrong with you? You see, this is a new tractor. Brand new. All I had to do is wait. Okay, I think it'll pop out somewhere around here. I gotta do better about turning these off though. Fuel is not free. Honestly not. Okay. We need baler. So, square baler. That's what our contracts are for. And this particular one is pretty small. So I'm fairly sure we can move the bales by hand. We cannot afford this. So we are going to lease it for 1137. Nice. Okay. So let's get this thing on there, and I think we'll start out with the contracts first. That way we can end after we load our bales onto something. I don't, we could reconfigure the trailer, but I don't think it's worth it. I think the thing that makes the most sense for us is to probably just load them in the truck. We won't be selling them anytime soon. So I do think we're gonna start at field 62, then we'll do 3, and then we'll finish on ours. And sometime or another we're gonna do that deadwood contract too. Yeah, so all right guys, we're gonna get over there, get to work, and yeah, see you in a bit. guys, we are just about to wrap up all the work. I have been thinking I'm probably gonna leave these bales for now. We'll save that for the next episode. One of these may disappear. I did restart the bale counter, so we have 17 bales, about 13% on this last one here. So, full deal. Oh, maybe 19. I wasn't sure if it did. Okay, so 19 bales. One might disappear. So let's do the most rewarding part here. Let's accept some of these contracts because that'll feel nice. We got this one, that one, and we did buy a chainsaw, and we went ahead and did the deadwood as well. Just because I think it would be nice to see. Are there any wheat contracts? There's that one. Now I think we're gonna leave it there in terms of the work in this episode. We do need to return the baler. Don't see a reason to hold on to it any longer. So vehicles, this one. Cool. Got that returned, and I guess we'll put up the tractor real quick. And I've been doing some thinking. We have a couple things we want to do. So first and foremost, let's talk about field 1. It's tiny. I honestly can't justify putting anything in this. I mean, it's absolutely microscopic. And I'm pretty sure it's a bad field anyways. Yeah, it's only 89%. Yeah. Ooh, it's very valuable, but it's connected to the rest of the farm. So anyways, yeah, we got a couple options here. We could just turn this into a big chicken pasture. I don't know if you'd call it a pasture, chicken pen. So let's take a look really quick, just out of curiosity. I mean, it's 2,000 for that. You gotta think it'd be 15,000 plus to fill the whole thing. That is a pretty natural progression for this little field, though. It's for it to be a chicken pen. Be nice to be able to afford that. Yeah, I'm not sure we'll do that for now, though. There is another option. We could take a look really quick. We go into none of that. Where is it? Forestry, tree planters. How much would this cost at least? 1,400. Saplings. Wow, I just realized I have the liftable pallets and bales mod on. Okay, we're gonna disable that. We do not want to use that. I use that when I play with my girlfriend. She plays on the PlayStation and she struggles to use the front loader. So yeah, we like to play with that on. Okay, so tree saplings. About 1,000 for 20 trees. Yeah, we're probably gonna avoid poplar in this series though. It seems a little overtuned. So yeah, we could actually reserve this area for a little sawmill and maybe some light forestry. It'd be quite the investment in the future, but it may be worth it. I could definitely see like, oh whoops, I could definitely see like a little sawmill going in here and then plant about 20 trees. And in a couple years we'll be able to really make use of that. We may wind up doing that, honestly. Yeah, quite possibly. The other thing I was thinking about while we were doing all this is maybe it's a good idea to combine these fields. I do kind of like the little track in the middle, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean 79 and 80 make a pretty decent size field, not terrible. Probably will end up putting the same crop in both, so for me that's only natural. But Yeah, I think that about wraps it up, guys. We have a busy episode planned next time. We have to pick up all the bales. We're gonna have to figure out the cedar situation, which may require us to cultivate, or maybe won't. We'll see. I also have something else in store. Something over here, but I'm gonna leave that as a surprise for now. But yeah, guys. So I think it's been a pretty good start to the series here, and hopefully you guys will follow along as we build this into a freaking empire. So see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.